So there's been a couple of videos here online, and I've noticed a couple of things on Facebook with Warhammer 40K enthusiasts calling for a boycott of Warhammer Plus. And what was my thought on that? So, certainly Games Workshop in the past couple of weeks has been, Games Workshop. And I understand what they're pushing. They need to defend their IP, but perhaps they could go about it in a better way. At the very least, I think if they had communicated and been more transparent with the community and the 40K enthusiasts, I think a lot of this could have been avoided. But with regards to a boycott of Warhammer Plus, that's up to the individual. That's up to the individual, from my opinion. I mean, if this is a service that you think you're going to receive value from and that you're interested in, this is a free market economy, this is capitalism, absolutely. I will say that the content that they deliver will be of the highest quality. I mean, if we separate ourselves from the emotion of Games Workshop, the one thing that you have to agree on, they have never not delivered quality. The miniatures, the books, the components, the collectibles, the production of White Dwarf. It might have shifted over the years. It might have changed. But in all the years that I've been playing and enjoying Games Workshop products, never once have I bought something and opened it up and felt like it was misrepresented or felt like I didn't get my money's worth. Some things might have been a little hard to build, like the old land speeders, the original Necron monolith. When I was building 6 of those for an Apocalypse event, they're just not going together. But I never really felt that I got less than my money's worth. I've always felt like I've gotten more. And even the promotional items, working to collect the army coins, even the promotional items, which are minimal giveaways, they've never been bad quality. So from that perspective, Warhammer Plus, I think it's going to be very well done, and it's going to deliver amazing quality. If that's something that someone wants to buy in and explore, personally, not that my opinion matters for anything, but I'm all for it. But I don't think a boycott is necessary at all. My thought on that is Warhammer Plus is essentially everything you can get for free. And that's the reason why they've been soft aggressively looking at YouTube channels, looking at Patreon stuff and other things. They're going to deliver animation top shelf. Well, a lot of that still already exists on YouTube. It's just re-uploaded. And animators might continue to do that. Create a rogue account, upload it, and things will sort of self-populate. And I'm not advocating going against IP and breaking the law, but I don't know how necessarily they would be able to stop all that. Battle reports. I can't see battle reports going away anywhere anytime soon. Now, they're going to offer some battle reports that I imagine, being in the studio, are going to be extremely well done in terms of painted miniatures and fantastic terrain and before and after reports. There are a number of very, very well-established 40K and wargaming channels that their battle reports look so professional and look like a movie set. So that's not really going to go away. Again, free content that's already out there. In terms of painting tutorials, now I have heard some rumors they're going to go after paint channels and painting tutorials. I don't see how they could do this. You're painting miniatures that you purchased. Maybe what people were talking about is certain branding. I'm not going to name any channels, but certain channels have 40K branding or 40K as part of their logo. Maybe you take a Space Marine and you morph yourself into looking like a Space Marine with that GW icons and Imperium icons on you. Maybe that's what people are talking about. But if you want to sit down and paint your miniatures and share them with the community, I can't see that changing. And again, some of those paint productions are well done, sitting there and hanging out like we're hanging out at the club painting. And others are extremely, extremely detailed and so well done that literally you could paint along step by step. On a side note, when I was painting my Zombicide Black Plague set, I swore I would never do that again. Painted up a second copy too with a buddy, but at least I had some help. The tutorials online were absolutely fantastic. just to help bridge that and to get me through that. Same thing with Warhammer 40,000. For those that are new to the hobby, having real-time paint tutorials is massive. So I don't see that value going away. Talking about lore or speculating about certain in-histories of the game, well, if you don't use any GW graphics or you don't use any logos, I don't see how they can stop you talking about that. So from that perspective, really with the exception of dedicated fan animations, what is Warhammer Plus going to offer? And this is a legitimate question that YouTube is not already offering. And we'll put Patreon aside for the moment. Okay, well, it's an app, and they're regularly going to push out content, and it's all going to be in the app in one place, and that's where it's going to work. Yes, that's I see that as convenience, because right now, of course, on my YouTube channel here, I'm linked to various playlists and YouTube subscribers and YouTube followers and YouTube channels that I interact with. I've got playlists for painting channels. I've got playlists for battle reports. I mean, you should check. If you're putting out battle reports, I'm probably watching them, trying to get some great ideas, trying to share some of that love in the community. I've already got my channels that I follow. I've got my playlists. It goes into my feed. Is it going to be as elegant as what Games Workshop puts out? No, it's YouTube. It's functional. So that's all I'm really seeing in the moment for Warhammer Plus. The fact that it will be an app and it might be better organized, but the downside is it's curated content through the vision of Games Workshop. And when I say vision, again, that will be the highest quality. I have no doubt about that. Maybe there'll be a few personalities to follow. Hopefully they evolve that out as opposed to just some like generic corporate push. But YouTube has that and more. So really, again, other than the animations, what is Warhammer Plus offering? So from that perspective, is a boycott even necessary? I think you're going to see some people subscribe. I think you'll see some people subscribe and drop off. I think it will establish kind of an equilibrium, and it'll have a subscription base that will funnel money to Games Workshop every month on autopay. But I don't think it's going to end or be the end of the hobby universe. So from that perspective, what else does it really have to offer? Some free miniatures. Now, that could potentially be a big deal. I think it's where you are in the Warhammer 40K life cycle. There was a time when I was building up my collection and certain miniatures I wanted to obtain. Limited edition miniatures, the game day miniatures, the Blood Angel Captain, kind of the anniversary cover, 3rd edition cover character, that Space Marine with the Thunderhammer. I mean, that's kind of a really, really nice model. I've utilized that in my Black Templars. I use that as a proxy for my Emperor's Champion. I mean, I can see that because at the time, that was the only vehicle to get those models. I was in a different place. Now I see some limited edition models. I might pick a few up if I can get them, but I'm not actively going out of my way to get them. There are secondary markets. This is the downside that I see. If you're at a place in your Warhammer 40K hobby, career, enthusiasm, where you want to obtain these miniatures, then being a subscriber is the only way. At that point, what you do, and look at it, maybe you actually come out ahead. Maybe it is worth it. If you think of Warhammer Plus as really, this is what it costs for the year, this is what it costs for the buy-in, and it gets you an exclusive figure, which, by the way, Games Workshop selling limited edition figures, the price isn't that crazy as it is. If you look at it as I'm buying a figure primarily first, and I'm also getting a little service that I can dip into and utilize from time to time, then actually it's not really a bad deal from that perspective. But that's the only angle that I really see where if it's important, not jumping into the subscription is going to hurt you, because those are going to be limited production and more limited than normal GW stuff, and trying to obtain those after the fact, while it will be possible. I mean, you can go to eBay. There are various collectors that'll sell it. You're going to pay incredibly crazy prices for it. And of course, that leads to the question, is it worth it or not? So I don't necessarily see a boycott really doing anything. What I do see is Games Workshop has flipped the table. They've gotten a little more aggressive with defending their IP. Maybe this is a lead up to Plus. Maybe it's just the new way of doing business. Maybe it's part of their expansion plans. I just think if you are in the YouTube community and the YouTube ecosystem, you have to be very careful how you have to decide to navigate those interactions with Games Workshop.